Welcome everyone to yet another Gamehorder Meadery review. I have here with us on the line Baphomead Meadery, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the mead that he sent me. There's two different bottles. One is more or less a mead, and one is more or less a grog. So, if you could, Mr. Baphomet, what? Let's talk about the mead first, and what let's give us a little bit of history on how you started out and how the evolution took place before you got to where you are now, 12 years later.
Yeah, it's been about a decade now that I started, through trial and error, writing down recipes, finding out what works, what doesn't work, what fruits work, because there's more to mead than just, the honey and the water and the yeast. I mean, it depends on the avenue you want to go. Do you want to make a piment? Do you want to make a sicer? It just depends. Are you going to add fruit to it? Are you going to add, are you going to use a fortified wine base that you made yourself? There's so many different avenues you can go with meads. And then the more that I researched the history of it from around the world and all the different variations is when I started getting serious into, figuring what would work here for me and what wouldn't work. And there's been a lot of trial and error for about the first 4 years of saying, this just doesn't work. This combination doesn't work, but this does. And as long as you have the patience to let it sit for 3-6 months or longer, patience being a virtue, it definitely shows in the quality of your product.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about 12 spices that went into this mead?
Actually, there are 16 spices in there.
16, okay.
Yes. Well, what do you want to know? I mean,
well, let's start with what they are, and then how you came to adding 16 spices. Because I guess a lot of people are going to think, well, isn't that too much? Is it a subtle amount of each? That can you actually taste the 16 spices? Can you pull them apart on your tongue or your palate? Do they help with more sweetness? Do they help balance it? Just give us a little bit of reasoning on to how you got to that magic number of 16 and what exactly those 16 are, because they're not on the bottle.
Right. I will not go and cover all of them because this is a true alchemical process. So I will not reveal all the secret ingredients of it. But just to name a few, there is cardamom, there is nutmeg, there is cinnamon, there is grains of paradise, there is dehydrated orange, dehydrated lemon, and that's just a few,
right,
of the base ones that go into, the maturation process.
Right.
And I started with, orange, because a lot of the Florida honey is orange blossom. So I did something to accentuate the natural qualities of the orange blossom in the honey. And I just built from there. And it was a process of, this is how they make mead in Syria. This is how they make mead in Turkey. This is how they make mead in Europe. And I just kind of based some of those ingredients and, through trial and error, a teaspoon of this, let's see how it comes out. Let's take it up to a tablespoon. Which, like I said, 4 years of trial and error and just building off of those mistakes to, make it what it is today.
Right. And now, and just so the viewers know, I asked Baphomet that question on purpose because I knew he wasn't going to reveal all of his hidden secret ingredients. But that's part of the process, is that when you're a home brewer, you're trying to find your niche. You're trying to find things that work for what you're creating yourself, but that also at the same time sets you apart from everything else, and especially all the shelfie shit that you run into nowadays.
Exactly. All the microbrew stuff where
right.
it's quantity and not quality.
So this particular bottle of mead that you sent me, is this something that you've been making for a while, or is this particular batch one of your, like a new discovery or a recent discovery?
This started with the 16, your base, herbs and spices, and decided this time to go with blueberry and a heavy hand of French lavender.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna taste blueberry in there for sure.
Your palate might pick it up.
Right.
I mean, mine does. I mean, I can tell you in wines, where, you know, depending on the region it comes from, if there was slate in the area where the grapes were grown, or if there might have been tobacco grown in that area, I have that palate to pick out all those different things. Can I pick them out? Absolutely. Will you pick them all out? I don't know. Your olfactory senses may get it before your mouth does.
Right. Okay.
So I take it you haven't cracked it open yet?
No, no. I wanted to do this first,
Awesome.
and I'm gonna be getting together with some of the crew later to do some Borderlands online, and I'm gonna continue the review then. Um, so tell us how you came up with the name Baphomead Meadery.
Uh,
You don't have to get into too much of the pagan rituals that you had to do first to come up with, but
the Reader's Digest version is I am a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and I'm an esoteric and ceremonial and ritual magician in my private life. And the concept of Baphomet, from the Greek, the Baphomethros means baptism of wisdom,
okay.
is the root of the name. So just the fact that the spelling Baphomet, and it's actually pronounced Baphomet or Baphomet, and it was just a play on words that kind of stuck. Baphomead.
So it was more based off the actual history of the word more than the relation to the demon or devil.
Absolutely. Elevus Levi.
Okay. Good stuff. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about Scylla, the Grog. Scylla and Carbitus.
Yes, Scylla and Carbitus.
I'm pretty familiar with the Greek mythology behind that. What brought you to name this particular Grog after those two awesome creatures?
Well, because in the Iliad, it was the monster on the island that would, if it was appeased, would let people pass, and if it wasn't, it was the death and destruction, and it seemed to be a very fitting term, just because here's something that starts as a base wine and is built onto, and when you go back and look at the historical tradition of the Celts, why am I getting tongue-tied? Your Europeans, your Vikings, your Netherlanders, they all had alchemists that travel with the troops. And when the cooks were done in the evening preparing the meal, they would use just the bare embers of the leftover fire to create alchemical drinks, medicinal drinks. And that's where the term come from, glow wine, which is Gotland Strijke. And it just, throughout time became Glug, which is known in Germany as a holiday wine, and through in Europe. And the Glug, disseminated down and actually became what is known as pirate's grog.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was kind of going to be my follow-up question, was what is, I think a lot of us watching, especially my viewers who are huge fans of this game called The Secret of Monkey Island, and I think a lot of us were introduced to the term grog probably at a at a much younger age than we were able to actually drink anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think it gets associated with pirates and all that much more than anything else. So would this constitute as a traditional pirate grog, or is grog that we use in the term of pirates just kind of a more of a vague term?
Well, right. When you think about just a pirate's grog, it was, whatever diluted rum there was, and it usually had fermented fruit in it.
Okay.
So you watered down rum with fermented fruit in it to kind of boost, the alcohol to make it palatable, for an anytime aperitif.
Gotcha. So
I'm just saying that just the etymology of the word, how it started in the Netherlands, the word Gotlandestrijke, has just come down to be known as, a grog. Whereas, a traditional pirate's grog is just rum and water. And like I said, the fruit, you have to reverse engineer and build off of that to get to, Scylla and Carbitus, the devil in the deep blue sea.
Gotcha. Good info. So in terms of time, how long does the mead take from start to finish, and how long does the grog take from start to finish?
Well, the mead can take anywhere. Sorry, I had to stand up. The mead it depends on how long you want to let it sit. I've had meads that have been, that have gone, a couple years. And like I said, this is one of those things where the longer it sits, if you have the patience to let it sit, the willpower, then it just gets better with age. But, your normal process would be, from start to finish, from when you do your first rack, and just doing the transferring, 3 months, 6 months.
Well, what about the bottles you sent me?
Those were, let's see, January. Those were 5 months in the making, both of them.
Okay. And the ABV, the percentage there.
Mm-hmm.
What was the percentage you said of the mead? Approximately, of course.
Right around 19.
Okay.
19
so about
to 21.
19%.
19 to 21.
Okay, and you said the grog was a bit stronger.
Yes. That you're looking like the gravity is about 25, 26.
Right. So
like I said,
they're
there's
both
a night
obviously
and day
powerful.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people understand the difference between, you take a crappy Miller Lite that's around 4%, 5%, and then you take some of the craft beer that gets up to 8, 9%, and then some of the heavier stouts get up into the 14, 15%. And I don't think a lot of people that don't consume these tasty beverages realize that 1 or 2% is a big difference. So
Absolutely.
when we're talking 25, 26%, we're talking about a haymaker.
Exactly. And that all comes from, the quality of yeast, live yeast versus dried, and blending. That's kind of a meader's secret, is blending.
Right.
Yeah. So the mead, the fact that it's, pure organic local honey. I mean, if you're looking for something sweet, some say that it's too sweet. Some say it's perfect. They can't even taste the alcohol, but it's one of those things like, whoa, I need to sit down. Whereas the glow wine, you're definitely going to know up front.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate all the information. Do you have anything that you want to tell our viewers? I'm going to go ahead and link on my description under the video a link to Baphomead.
Yeah.
T is silent, folks. We've been saying it wrong for all our lives. But yeah, I'll put a link to his Facebook page, and you guys are more than welcome to check it out, possibly place an order. I'll be continuing the review here a little bit later with my own personal thoughts and feelings after I sit down and chug a little bit. And so we'll follow up with that later. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we go ahead and close this interview?
That was it. I appreciate the the review, and definitely look forward to your opinions. I've yet to have one dissatisfied customer to ever say, you know what, this is the most awful thing I've ever tasted in my life. I'm going back to buying the stuff off the shelf.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to it very much myself. So I'm glad you took the time out of your day to do this with me, sir. And
absolutely,
I will let you know as soon as we have the video up.
Awesome.
All right, you have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, folks. Here we are with the Baphomead Wildflower Honey Wine with 16 herbs and spices. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that fucking killer paganistic artwork. Some would say satanic, but that might be going a little too far. Fuck it, upside down cross. That's satanic as fuck. Anyways, you can see that we have bunches of sediment, herbs, spices, all the goody yum-yums have formed at the bottom. So we need to shake that up a bit. Shake it up, don't drop it. Open that with my mouth. Oh, I can already taste it off the cap. It's yummy. I'm not going to do too much here because I don't want to get trizashed. And this stuff is about $30 a bottle, so you want to enjoy it. You want to savor it. No need to try to aerate it as there is no carbonation, but let's try it out. Oh, whoa. Yep. That's interesting. Definitely potent. It's thick, viscous flavor. A lot of floral. Getting a lot of floral taste. The aroma's quite amazing. It's good. It's got a lot going on. It's definitely a step above what you're going to find on the shelves. You can tell that a lot of love and care went into this. It's actually kind of hard for me to pick out any distinct or discerning flavor. Mainly because there's so fucking many. But thick honey flowers, that's coming to mind. That wildflower honey. It's tremendously good. For mead. If you don't like meads, this might not be your thing. But I'm going to report back to you when I've had a bit more and let you know how I feel. And maybe let this get a little bit room temp also. All right, welcome back to our second part of the review for the Boffo Mead. wildflower honey wine with 16 herbs and spices. I'm here with my buddy. He's had a rough day. Anyways, even at room temp, it maintains a lot of these same attributes that it has when it's cold, and I can for 100% certain say that I like this colder better than at room temp, but that's just how I am. A lot of people are either cold drinkers or warm drinkers or room temp drinkers, and I definitely prefer mine like cold, like, because this is so heavy on the throat. It's so viscous. There's these deep flavored spices and that floral taste, and I just feel like cold complements all those things so much better with this particular mead. But that's probably just me in a lot of cases. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this on up. This glass. This is how much of the bottle I had in one sitting. So, a little under half. It's quite potent, 19%. So, but again, I'm someone who's also built up quite the tolerance. I drink 14-15% beers, daily, weekly, whatever. And been hitting the craft pretty hard for a few years now, so. But yeah, you can feel it once you get a couple ounces in you. I don't even know if that's an accurate number, but this is kind of the pours I've been sticking to and making them last throughout the evening. Whoa, shit! See, told you I was 100% okay. But anyways, beautiful mead, very tasty. Lots going on, lots of flavor, definitely unique in all senses of the word, and it goes well with my Baphomead hop glass. I will catch you guys soon with the second bottle review, which will be on Scylla and Carbidus, the Greek mythological monsters that ruled the sea, and we will try that out. A 25-26% grog. Oh Lord. Alrighty, folks, here's my quick personal review on Scylla and Carbidus, the Gotlandstrecke grog from Baphomead Brewery, or Meadery. I'm as you can see, pretty well through the bottle. It's not something that you devour quickly at 25-26%. So, very pungent and potent. You might also get some floaties in the bottle if you decide to order some, but they're good floaties. Sediments and spices and bits of the herbs and things that were left into bask and broil in the goodness of the grog. Anyways, it's got a nice, I would say, sweet taste. But at the same time, very a strong taste as well. And a lot going on, obviously. I am sure there are many things that went into this grog as there was that went into the mead. So, but try it out. You can visit Baphomead Meadery on Facebook, And if you're on my Untapped, you can rate it as well. Thanks for watching. All right, here we are doing the Baphomead Mead review. We have Tony, who's not exactly huge into meads, but he likes drinking stuff, soju and stuff like that. And we have Matt over here, who's a big craft fan. But I don't think either of these guys are big mead guys. But let's see what you guys think of the Baphomead. It's got wildflower honey wine with 16 herbs and spices.
It's not bad. It kind of tastes like wassail.
Wassail?
Have you
Okay.
ever- you ever
Yeah,
had
from like the
wassail?
Wassail Fest in New Braunfels, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tony? You had worse? What do you think compared to shelf mead?
I've never had shelf mead, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, see?
it's you can taste the honey for sure.
Yeah.
It almost tastes like liquid honey to me in a way.
There's like I don't know if it's cinnamon or something else.
There's cinnamon, nutmeg,
Yeah.
wildflower, grains of paradise, he said.
Yeah. I can taste the cinnamon.
If you heated it up like 50 or 60 degrees, it'd be exactly like wassail.
Yeah. I can taste the
Not bad.
cinnamon and smell the wildflower predominantly. At least that's what I can. But
Cool.
it's not too sweet. Not.
So hurry on over to Baphomead Meadery on Facebook and buy you a bottle. All right, thanks for the review, guys. Now we're back with the Grog. Now I personally am only a fan of this as a nighttime cap, a nightcap, because it's 25%.
Yep, according to
So,
Untapped.
all right, take a shot, guys. Bottoms up, bitches.
That's 25%.
Like the mead better taste-wise, probably. What do you think about the taste on this?
Depends on what I'm in the mood for. This one's not bad. I think I could drink more of this than the mead.
Really?
Just because of the spices. Well,
You'd be hammered quick.
yes, I would be very hammered. It's more drinkable. The cinnamon and the other spices. Can't drink a ton of that.
That's true. That's true. They kind of add up and they start to even get in your throat a little bit.
The mead
Almost like a
seems
spice,
More, the
like
mead
a
seems more
hot
drinkable
pepper.
to me.
You like the mead better?
Yeah.
Cool.
It kind of reminds me of a thicker, like communion wine.
Yeah,
Kind of.
it's reminded me a little bit of some wines I've had in the past, but
Yeah, I think it is. Technically, it is kind of a wine, I think.
I also taste
It's Scotland Striker Grog.
yeah, this one's definitely sweeter.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for the review. You've officially had Viking Grog and Viking Mead.
Sweet.